This is CBC Vancouver News.
Two separate homicides in Vancouver within 4 hours, and police say at least one of them is linked to the ongoing Lower Mainland gang conflict.
It could have just been one of those basic evening rides that she would always go on, and not something where we get a phone call late at night and not the phone call you want to hear.
Motorcycle fatalities are on the rise. What RCMP and ICBC are doing to help keep bikers safe.
This current year, we've had a wait list of over 1,200 girls in BC.
With a spike in demand, BC Girl Guides say more volunteers are urgently needed. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Janella Hamilton. Vancouver police are investigating after two men were killed within 4 hours of each other overnight in near opposite ends of the city, including a targeted shooting police believe is linked to the Lower Mainland gang conflict. Police say around 1:30 this morning they received multiple reports of a shooting outside a South Vancouver banquet hall near Fraser Street and Southeast Marine Drive. When they arrived, officers performed CPR on a 28-year-old man, but despite life-saving efforts, the man died from his injuries. No further details have been released by police, but they are asking anyone with information to come forward. Another man is also dead after a fatal stabbing in Vancouver's busy West End neighborhood late Saturday night. Police say it happened just before 10 o'clock near the intersection of Davie and Butte Streets. The man was taken to hospital where he later died of his injuries. The victim has not been identified by police and no arrests have been made. The investigation remains ongoing. Police have not said whether they believe the stabbing is also related to ongoing gang conflict. The two incidents in a single night bring the total number of murders in Vancouver to 8 so far this year. A dry air mass and significant winds has caused an uptick in wildfire activity in the Peace River region, prompting new evacuation orders and alerts today. The Donny Creek blaze, one of the largest fires that remains burning out of control in the province, has grown to nearly 1,360 square kilometers southeast of Fort Nelson. The Northern Rockies Regional Municipality has also issued evacuation orders and alerts due to the nearby Kluwa Lakes fire, which is considered part of the Donny Creek fire complex. The regional district has issued an evacuation order for the area north of Grayswatch Creek, the area north of kilometer 44 on Tommy Lakes Road, and the area north of kilometer 20 on PDR 204. Anyone in those areas are asked to leave immediately. The unusually hot weather already this spring has brought an early start to the motorcycle season, and with that comes the possibility of increased crashes. In the past 6 weeks, there have been 3 fatal collisions involving motorcyclists. At least 8 motorcyclists have died so far this year, compared to 6 this time last year. As Yasmin Gandam reports, recent collisions are prompting Surrey RCMP and ICBC to team up to do what they can to keep bikers safe.
Dozens of bikers of all skill levels, from the most experienced to the beginner.
We think just because we have a license, we're okay. I'm talking hours and hours of just like this, not even on the road. I would suggest people do it.
All participating in a motorcycle skills challenge. Police riders providing tips and guidance to help bikers stay safe on the roads.
It's been very appreciated by all the riders. In particular, one rider thought he was really good. He's been riding since 2008. He thought he was a really good bike rider. But coming here, he's realized that he's got some skills that he needs to work on.
The point is to push the limit, make mistakes, and learn without the risk of a crash. Officers are there to support and ensure riders are on the right track.
Nothing on your front.
Something that is a big concern, especially with a recent uptick in crashes.
4% of our insured policies
are motorcycle riders, but yet they make up 14% of our crashes. So on average, there's 2,200 crashes each year with motorcycles. In Surrey, in the last 6 weeks, we've had 3 motorcycle fatalities. So it's really important for us to partner in events like this.
Families of riders like 38-year-old Alexis Wiltsey, who died in a crash in Kamloops earlier this month, say more needs to be done to prevent these accidents.
It could have just been one of those basic evening rides that she would always go on, and not something where we get a phone call late at night and not the phone call you want to hear.
ICBC warning not only the bikers, but drivers on the road as well.
Very similar to pedestrians, you cannot see motorcycles unless you're actually looking for them because they're very small. They often look like they're going faster than they're going. So we want drivers to be very aware.
The event, held at Qualicum University, is the first of its kind in Surrey, but has been happening for years in North Vancouver and Qualicum. The hope is for other regions to steer towards these workshops as well, and for the course to be an annual event. Yasmin Gantam, CBC News, Surrey.
Surrey RCMP is asking for the public's help in finding a 15-year-old who has been missing since Thursday morning. Dante Baker was last seen in the 115 block of 141st A Street in Surrey. He has not been seen or heard from since. Baker is described as a mixed-raced male, 5'1", 230 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. He was last seen wearing a black sweater, black sweatpants, and black Nike Air Force shoes. Anyone with information is asked to contact police. Parents living on the southern tip of Vancouver Island say they are fed up with the ongoing bus cancellations at their children's schools. As Yasmin Janella reports, a shortage of school bus drivers is fueling the problem.
More than 4,000 students in the Souk School District rely on school buses, including those living in widespread rural communities.
Where we live, we have no other options.
The school district says every day over the past 2 weeks, at least one bus route has been canceled, causing some students to miss class.
You know, parents are just fed up with the unreliability, especially with families that both parents are working, or you have a single parent. It is tough for them.
The school district says the cancellations are due to a shortage of bus drivers.
Our challenge, obviously, is that there is a universal employee shortage, particularly around drivers.
The Souk School District runs and operates school buses for the communities of Souk, Langford, and 2 other municipalities. It covers 39 routes per day and only has 44 drivers.
If we have drivers that are absent, it's a pretty narrow margin for us to be able to accommodate that.
The cancellation's even tougher for younger students who can't drive or take public transit.
It's tough to be in that situation and not have a reliable bus service to and from school for your child.
The superintendent says many drivers have been out sick recently, and a bigger issue, Stinson says the district's school bus drivers are typically retired from other careers, and the split shift, working in the early morning and in the afternoon, is a difficult schedule for some.
And it's a constant challenge around demand and what we can afford and the number of drivers we have and the number of buses.
The school district says it's actively trying to recruit more drivers, hosting hiring fairs and offering to train people interested. In the meantime, parents can likely expect more cancellations before the end of the school year. Yasmin Janella, CBC News, Vancouver.
With more than 1,000 youth in this province on wait lists, BC Girl Guides says they urgently need more volunteers to keep up with a spike in demand. So Rab Sandhu reports.
More than 2,000 Girl Guides and volunteers from across BC gathering at Holland Park in Surrey Sunday for the annual Rally in the Valley event, where youth aged 5 to 17 participate in outdoor activities and games aimed at building confidence while learning valuable life skills.
Advice for college, advice for just life in general, relationships, things like that.
Isabel Caniete says Girl Guides provide a safe space to share her feelings and seek mentorship. The volunteer-run organization says since the pandemic, they have seen a spike in demand And with more young girls wanting to take part, more volunteers are urgently needed.
This current year, we've had a wait list of over 1,200 girls in BC that have tried to join and have been unable to do so until we have more volunteers coming forward.
The shortage of volunteers means parents are left filling in.
I wanted my daughter to have new experiences like I did when I was a Girl Guide, and the only thing was there weren't any leaders available. So we were basically told if you wanted a unit to occur, that we would need to step up as parents.
But you don't have to be a parent to volunteer. Isinger says BC Girl Guides will train and mentor new leaders and welcome women from all walks of life.
It's a really exciting way to give back to your community while really gaining a lot yourself.
To meet the growing demand, the organization is putting a call out for more volunteers. Registration for the fall season is open now and will run until June 12th. Saurabh Sandhu, CBC News, Surrey.
A heads up for drivers, Highway 99 at the Steveston interchange will be closed starting overnight tonight. The closure will be in place until 4:30 tomorrow morning. This will allow crews to safely move heavy machinery across the highway for the new 5-lane Steveston interchange project. During the highway closure, traffic will be detoured. Drivers can expect minor delays and are asked to use caution when driving in the area. An annual cycling fundraiser for an incurable form of blood cancer was held today in Richmond, with more than 100 cyclists riding to raise awareness and money for myeloma research. We were there meeting a North Vancouver resident and myeloma patient who is currently in remission to learn more about the cause.
My name is Yolande Payne. I have a disease called multiple myeloma. Not to be confused with melanoma. It's a blood cancer. It's a cancer of your plasma cells.
So today in Richmond was our second annual Myeloma Canada Ride. We gathered here in Richmond. We had about 150 riders that came out today. A beautiful sunny day, raising money and awareness for multiple myeloma and myeloma research, and helping to support our community in BC here and right across the country.
Last year there were 3 rides, this year 7. So it's growing. We raised about $85,000 with one event. So it's wonderful. And this money goes directly to research. So we need it. We need to help fund these trials and help patients survive.
At this point, myeloma is not a curable disease yet. There's so much research happening and so much exciting advancements, but we're not quite there at the cure just yet.
I had a stem cell transplant 7 years ago. I did relapse, but I'm currently in remission and doing really well. So I was able to go out there today and cycle 33 Ks without any effort at all.
Hundreds of people gathered in Qualicum Beach today for the town's 45th annual Family Day celebrations, with a special guest appearance from the Canadian Armed Forces Skyhawks parachute team.
The opportunity to be close with Canadians throughout the country is truly something special, and that the ability to put smiles on faces and make people's days is really great.
There's so many fun things where people can see their grandchildren and their children and participate. It's just a wonderful day in Qualicum Beach.
The Community Day is organized each year by dedicated volunteers. This year's event also featured performances by Funkonometry, complete with a parade and pancake breakfast. Alberta election candidates spent their final campaign hours trying to get the vote, especially in battleground Calgary, where just a few votes could affect the results of some races. That story is next. Alberta voters will cast their ballots tomorrow in what could be a historically close provincial election. Today, in one pivotal battleground, both Janella Smith and Rachel Notley were busy trying to sway voters their way. Aaron Collins is in Calgary with the latest.
Spring is in the air in Calgary. A sunny Sunday off for most. Time for a trip to the park, not politics.
It's just cool to just chill and relax and do nothing. Watch your kids do their thing.
Still, a tight race means the ups and downs of the campaign are unavoidable, even here.
Healthcare is obviously, I think, a huge front runner for us, and family doctor availability.
Mostly just economics, and we want to make sure that the province stays in good economic health.
Obviously, more spending on education, trying to get fewer kids per class.
It's not a day off for the politicians hoping to win. Rachel Notley campaigning in Calgary over the weekend. Notley's NDP need to win big here to have a chance of forming government.
Alberta is going to choose a better future and a better government.
The United Conservatives' Janella Smith also needs as many seats as possible here to come out on top.
Every single vote is going to make a difference on election day.
Prominent Conservatives turning up on social media to make a final push for Calgary UCP candidates.
In Calgary, Acadia, get out to the polls on Monday and please re-elect Tyler Shandro.
Polls in recent days suggest the UCP may be edging ahead, but most political watchers say it's still very close in battleground Calgary.
I think it's going to come down to voter turnout, and so that's where the ground game comes in. The so-called ground game means going out and getting your voters to make it to the polls and make sure they vote for you.
But after a rough and tumble campaign, the focus here on moving forward, no matter who wins.
We're all have the right to our own opinions, and I think we'd be better off if we all listen to each other a little bit more.
Election day here in Calgary and across Alberta takes flight Monday. Aaron Collins, CBC News, Calgary.
Wildfire danger has suddenly escalated in Nova Scotia tonight. Evacuations are underway in communities on the outskirts of Halifax, with fast-moving flames already devouring homes and threatening many more. Kate McKenna has the story.
Plumes of smoke caused by a fire that ignited only this afternoon. It's out of control, and so far, it's been devastating.
This fire has damaged several homes and properties. The count of the properties and the extent to which they're damaged is not yet known.
Tens of thousands of people already forced to evacuate, the number growing by the hour. Evacuation centers already set up.
We just heard on the radio that there was a fire. And then as we got closer to home, we could see the smoke, and it's incredible. And it's across the road. We're sort of the subdivision across the road.
This fire started about a half hour west of Halifax in Upper Tantallon. It's been moving east. Entire subdivisions are evacuated, and others nearby, like Taylor Martin, anticipate being told they'll need to leave.
Honestly, my partner and I were just sitting on the couch earlier today and were talking about the weather, and then had noted that there was no clouds in the sky, and then just saw this very large, what we at first thought was a cloud, but ended up being just a huge cloud of smoke.
Officials say help is coming in the form of water tankers from Newfoundland and New Brunswick. But there are concerns about the number of fires in the Maritimes so far this season.
Yeah, so this season so far, we've had 176 wildfires. Compared to last season, we only had 70 wildfires.
With no rain in the forecast and multiple out-of-control fires in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, officials warn these conditions are primed for more fires. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Ottawa.
A new study from the University of Colorado Boulder says leaner snowpack in Western Canada and United States mountain ranges is causing drier summers and increasing wildfire risk.
So what we found is that as a long-term average, that
snow water storage capability across the West is very different across mountain ranges, but is declining through time across all mountain ranges due to primarily earlier snow melt and so earlier water availability in terms of being closer to when the snow fell, and that was brought on by warming.
The study analyzed mountain snow data from across Western North America from 1950 to 2013 and looked at how snowpacks store water as snow throughout the season. Other experts say the study is important because snow melts provide most downstream water resources, such as for hydro. And if there is more snow melt occurring earlier in the year, there could be less available later in the year. Here we have a live shot of Harbour Centre Tower. I'll have your full forecast coming up next. Well, it is time now to take a look at your forecast. We'll begin with current temperatures around the region, starting in West Vancouver, 14 degrees still, 15 degrees in Pitt Meadows, 13 in Abbotsford, and 11 degrees in Victoria Airport. Taking a look at tomorrow's temperatures, let's start up in Dease Lake, 10 degrees with a mix of sun and clouds. Prince Rupert, you're going to be seeing 15 degrees with mostly sunny. Prince George, 20 degrees, again, mostly sunny. Williams Lake, 19 degrees tomorrow. Port Hardy, you're going to be seeing 14 degrees with periods of light rain. In Victoria, 20 degrees with beautiful sun. And Kelowna really getting up there to 26 degrees with a lot of sun as well. And I hate to end off with Cranbrook, but 22 degrees with a risk of severe thunderstorms throughout the night and showers into tomorrow morning. Taking a peek at our five-day forecast here in Metro Vancouver. That nice warm weather sticking around for most of the week. Monday, 19 degrees. Tuesday, 20 degrees. Keeping relatively the same all the way till Friday, where we will be seeing highs of 21. Canada has won gold at the Men's World Hockey Championship, defeating Germany.
And Sider actually brings it out, and the Germans have to tag back up. Play it ahead for Quinn. Chips it back for Lawton. Scott. Lawton scores! 5-2 Canada.
That final goal came in late in the game with the German net empty. It's Canada's second gold in the last 3 years. In 2022, the team lost the gold medal game to Finland. Latvia beat the U.S. for this year's bronze, the country's first medal ever at these championships. That is your late news for this Sunday. Thank you so much for watching. For news at any hour, visit our website, cbc.ca/bc. Have a great night.